Yep.
Hey, okay, here we are. We're going to start right here with the cornerstone. This is the original cornerstone from 1960. I'm not going to read all the names. It's kind of hard to read. And then in the 2016, this is the new one we laid. This is the celebration that we talked about. So you can see the laces over here, public school foundation, public school celebration. It's really a fun time. I wanted to mention while we're outside here, we're having our big fall block party. As you can see, lots going on. This is one of the things we do here on the campus, just to have fun and generate some excitement and provide some things for the community. We've got the kids dressed up today, lots of food trucks. There's still plenty of time. It's going to be going on till 6 o'clock, so we invite you to come down. We'll show you the building here real quick. You can see the main building. And one thing that I didn't mention is the fact that the windows were all replaced in the 90s, the old original non-insulated windows with the insulated windows. These restrooms were added on the lower level, so these used to have windows and this was a classroom, but these air vents are for those lower restrooms that were added in. I mentioned to you earlier about this section between the two buildings that was added in later years. They weren't there originally. And so just a quick view of the building. Let's go on inside. Have fun?
Yeah. We're making a cameo.
Well, let's show the original tile here in the entry. This is original. And of course, the color scheme back when this building was built was green. There were it was two-tone. The lower part of the wall was a dark green, the upper part was a light green, and I'll show you that color in a couple of closets that are still there. The suspended ceilings were not here. We're going to go to the lower level first. Again, had taller ceilings, had some radiator ceilings down here on the lower level that used to see. Many of the kids that went to school here would still remember those. These restrooms were not here. They were added after the ADA Act in the late 80s. These were put in even when I went to school here in the late 70s. They weren't here. This classroom was, I think Mr. Zeller had English in here when I was in this building. But as you can see, this is the renovation that we've done. A typical example. Exposed the brick on the wall, floor covering, painted all the walls. We've tried to get all the paint in the building sort of uniform, especially in the commons areas with the black trim and the gray walls to try to get some uniformity. There were all kinds of colors and so forth that had been applied in different areas and different timelines. This area over here was the principal's office, and this was a workroom for the teachers. There is a bank vault back in there that was installed, not originally, but it was put in sometime last century. But I think that remained the principal's office all the way through junior high. Mr. DeHart was there during junior high, and of course we had Mr. Walker and all the classes prior. That was the principal's office. This room was the boys' restroom when I went to school here, but it was converted to a workroom when these new restrooms were built in the late 80s. This door goes to the boiler room. We're going to just show you a quick picture of the boiler room because there's a lot of nostalgia there. You can see the old boiler here on the left, and of course they used it for maintenance and so forth over the years. It still looks pretty original. Some of the walls and still pretty similar to how it was 80 years ago, I guess. We're going down the hallway. Now these ramps were added also with the ADA Act of the late 80s, the same time these restrooms were built. So prior to then, you had steps to go back up to get out to the gym hall. You had steps here to get to this east wing. These ramps were all added, so at least you could go in a wheelchair come in the gym doors. You could go all the way through with the restrooms here. And all the lower level classrooms, which they could accommodate students that had those needs by having their classes here on the lower level. This also added these restrooms for the gymnasium because, as you may remember, the gym restrooms, you have to go down some steps. That made these available from there. Hi.
Hi.
So this area, whenever I was in school, there were lockers here. This little entry area. You want to open that up, son? There were lockers in this area as well. Now, when this area was first built in, it was kind of an entryway to the gymnasium. So, late 40s, you could come into the gym, or come into this area and go left into the gym. You could go on upstairs to what would have been the elementary classrooms, or go that way into the rest of the school. But over time, after they converted the lower level gym into classrooms, they didn't really need it for an entry, and it just became a classroom. I think I've heard some say this was a remedial reading class or something. Some of them attended. But then at one time when I was in school, there were lockers in here. Hi. Oh, by the way, this is now the tech zone. Logan Fraker works on computers and electronic items. If you need any help, holler at him. He can fix you. We're going to go on into the east wing now. So this would be the front door. It would have been where you would have came into the old gym in the 40s. And this would have all been open. Higher ceiling, lower floor, gym floor, the whole bit. After 1954, it was converted to classrooms. This would be a good example of kind of what the classroom would have looked like. It had knotty pine paneling on this wall, storage area. Of course, the floors were not like they are now. The ceiling was higher. We exposed the brick. We use this for a kind of a birthday party room. If you rent the arcade for a birthday party, you can have your cake and drinks in here. This is the donut shop. I know this was Mr. Rich's science class when I attended this building. And then this room is also part of the donut shop. You can see we still left the original classroom numbers that were added in here for junior high several years ago. Got a little set of restrooms here that were built for the alternative school in the early 2000s. They weren't here back when we were in school. We're decorated for Halloween. It doesn't normally look quite like this. And then this classroom we're using now as an annex to the arcade. There's a pool table, hockey table, a little lounge area for the kids to play games and so forth. Show knotty pine paneling. That's what these walls look like in the old days. Now this room, after the gym was built, they called this the little gym, and I think the elementary kids who were attending over here in the 50s used this as for assemblies. There was a stage on one end. By the time I came to school here, this was our library. And then of course, now it's the RetroZone arcade. We're doing a little video here. This is the arcade. This was the stage area we talked about. And then this was the library. Thanks. We're going to take you upstairs to the second floor of the east wing. Of course, there were lockers in all the hallways. We still have a few of the lockers scattered around, but not too many of them. Here's some of the old trophies that we dug out. There was quite a few trophies found in different nooks and crannies. These are some of the oldest ones. And we're hoping to do even more with these over time. And here's some more of them. These would have had lockers. There would have been lockers all up and down this hall on both sides. The donut shop uses this classroom. Up here, the classrooms were larger. As I mentioned, this became the elementary school then, or this was the elementary school in the 40s, before, when the gym was still below it. This is kind of what the classroom would have looked like when I went to school in the 70s. Kind of the blue walls. It didn't have the suspended ceiling. It had that higher ceiling. The old lighting. The floors would have been wood, still been wood, because the floors and the ceiling were all done when the windows were done in the mid-90s. The old radiator heat. No air conditioning. There might have been a window unit or two. As you can see, the original blackboards here. Some of the blackboards were covered up with wipe-off boards too. This, we talked about the cloak closets. This is a cloak closet. And here's your original green color from here, in this case would be 1926. You can see the dark green, the lighter green. Even had a window in the end of it, believe it or not, even though it was a cloak closet. But they had coat racks all down through here. That's the original stucco color right there. Underneath the paint, or the coat hangers. Another classroom here. We have another classroom over here, and then two at the end. So there have been 2, 4, 6 classrooms, elementary school, up until about 1954 or 5. And right now we have this room rented out to a company called Split Burst. Down here at the far end we have these 2 rooms. We let a couple of bands practice in those rooms. And then the very far end is a set of restrooms. Now let's go down to the fire escape for a moment. Because many kids remember the fire escape. It was still used when we had school here. Get a good shot of the campus there too. So here's the industrial art building we talked about. That was the first building back here. And then the art annex that was built on, the the vocational agriculture building. And this is the kitchen. The old dining hall connected the kitchen and the sewing room together, right where those vehicles are. And then of course the band hall with the vocal music room behind it. The canopy went all the way over to the dining hall when it was there. We're going to go on up to the second floor, the main floor, over the center section next.
Hello.
We know who that is. You're on camera.
Oh, hi.
That's
Yeah,
Melanie.
you guys need to go try the new energy drink at the coffee truck.
Okay.
It's really good.
As long as you're buying.
Oh, okay.
So this was George Ballard's counseling office. For those of you who might remember, this is the podcast room. This is where we do the podcast from, and I've got quite a bit of memorabilia that I'm collecting. I still have more that I'll be getting out and digging out, but just some fun stuff that keeps me busy. Here's a shot of the old Blue Jay Chatters, or I'm sorry, the Blue Jay Annuals. They actually called it the Blue Jay until 1949. Then they changed it to the Retrospect. Don't ask me why, but that's how it was prior. Oh, one more thing here. This is a picture of when they built the new gym in '54. This is the plan, the blueprint, the proposed gymnasium plan for Marshfield High School by Esterly and Amspatcher, the architects. But you can see, and if you look at it, it's pretty much the way they built it. They did make a little bit of a change here in the lobby, in the entryway. And then the new locker rooms and entrance, the vestibule was added in '69, so it came on out a little further. But that's what they were showing people to try to get it passed. So this is the superintendent office area, and we'll go in this door. We've done some pretty major renovating in this area. So when we took the building over a couple of years ago, it had old orange carpet and had pretty much looked like it did from the 70s. But there's a little restroom back there, a little break room. Now these were added later. They weren't here originally. They were added in sometime, probably in the 70s. And then we have offices here. This is my office, which I think was maybe assistant superintendent's office, Mr. Gentry's office. And then this office back here was actually the superintendent's office, where Mr. Barr, of course, was the longtime superintendent. Then Jack Howard and Dr. Dana and Mike Wutke, they would have all had offices here. And then I think Wutke would have been the last one, and then they went to the new administration building. Another, I think, counseling office here, maybe. There's an old map I found in the building. It didn't have a lot of nostalgia. It's pretty much been all removed, but I did find that old map, and it was pre-Hawaii and Alaska. So it had to be before 1948, stuck in a corner somewhere. Now these classrooms, we haven't done anything with yet. We have some plans in mind, but we're not definite yet. So they're pretty much have remained like they were. Same way with this first one here. We're gonna go to the third floor. We've done quite a bit of work on the third floor. As a matter of fact, at one time the third floor wasn't used at all, even when it was junior high. The Christian school didn't use it either. They considered it, I don't know, needed too much work. But we got in, cleaned it up, didn't really need as much work as they said it did. Structurally, the old building's in really good shape. And the other thing is the electrical was all redone in the 90s, and it's in excellent shape. So that was important to us. We added this window. It had been removed and blocked off. We added this in to give us some light and make it a little more fun. So here on the third floor, we have some boutiques. We have, as you can see here, the ladies' boutique. We're doing a little video showing off everything. Say hi. Get in there and tell her hi.
Hi.
What's the name of your shop?
It's Small Town Apparel.
Small Town Apparel. Remember that. If you need some small town apparel, this is the place to come. Thank you. This is Lash Out. They do lashes. And then over here we have, Shelby has an art studio back here. We have In My Heart Photography here. And we have the Mended Souls Massage Clinic right here. We have another facial treatment massage area, Onyx and Emerald up here in this area. And this is the third floor, and it's just a really cute little area that we're kind of proud of. We have our little restroom up here and a powder room. How we did on time?
18 minutes.
We're at 18 now?
Yep.
Okay, I better wrap up. Okay, we're gonna finish up our tour in the gym. Most of you have been in the gym. As I said, we have a vendor fair going on today, and Ernie Smith's up there playing a little music, so get a little idea of what we do here periodically. Here's the old hallway. Now I want you to be sure and scan the pictures. The first set we have 1945, and we end with 1969. So a lot of people find it interesting to come in and look at our pictures and try to find kinfolk. Here's the old scoreboard that hung in the gym for many, many years. It was replaced a few years ago. And we still have the old junior high track and field records that were mounted on the gym wall for many years. Here. Hello. So a few changes made. We changed the lighting was changed out a few years ago. Some of the tile work was covered up with new metal. Of course, a lot of the old original gym seats were removed and taken to the gymnasium over where it's now the junior high over off Elm Street. But a lot of the old gym is still very similar to how it was when we all went to school. Gym floor is original and it's in excellent condition. And thanks to the Barnes family, they help us keep it in good shape. There's the old concession stand many will remember, and some will remember a lot about the old hallways and how they looked. It hasn't changed a whole lot. This door we added for the preschool when we made this a preschool. It didn't used to be here. And these were the locker rooms, the men's and the ladies. This was the ladies' locker room. You came in through that door. And as you can see, a lot of work and a lot of changes went in when we converted these over. The showers were right in this area. Of course, this doorway was not here. And then this was the shower area for the men's side. You can still kind of see the old glazed block here, the wall, and kind of recognize the old coach's office there with the glass window. And that's going to complete our tour. We're over an hour now. We appreciate you taking time to watch today. Again, feel free to contact me if you have any questions or if you'd like to be a guest on the show. We do have some folks who lining up to become guests, but we wanted to take a day and talk about the history of the building. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.